watch the show on my Facebook channels and my LinkedIn channel, we had a little camera issue at the start of the show, but now we got it fixed and we are up and running. And we appreciate you watching the show in whatever format you do, whether it's on the 9890 Answer Facebook page, the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook pages, LinkedIn, Twitter, many different ways to watch it. We do the first hour on my own pages, and then the second hour is also on the 9890 Answer Facebook page, the Bruce Hooley Show page, but we also have hour number 2 on there as well. And if you missed the show, you can always podcast it. Go to 9890answer.com and click on the Listen tab, and you will eventually find it. It's a little bit different on your phone than it is on your laptop or computer, but just toggle around shows, podcasts, click on one of those, and you'll see the links. A lot of people in the Olentangy district have been responding to what I reported the last 2 days about their levy campaign, and you will find those segments. First one would be the opening segment on Tuesday. Second one would be the second segment, or the second segment on the podcast is actually 11:30 to noon. So you can check that out if you're in the Olentangy School District. The Senate candidates in the state of Ohio had their final debate last night. Bernie Moreno, Matt Dolan, and Frank LaRose. It's going to be a tight race. March 19th is the primary. It's another reason why you should be at the Lazy Chameleon event on March the 20th with myself, Mike Gallagher, whose show precedes my own, and Jack Windsor, host of the Windsor Report, which airs here on The Answer at 5 o'clock every day. Moreno, I think, is out in front. The latest polls show he's out in front. But there's a big segment, almost a quarter of the electorate says they are undecided. Will Moreno, because he has the endorsement of Jim Jordan and Donald Trump, prove to be the winner in that? Don't know. My fears, I've told you, is that LaRose and Moreno are much more closely aligned than Dolan is with those two. And my fear is that the Moreno-LaRose voters will split the vote between them, and that will leave Dolan a lane to become, kind of another phony fake Republican in the Senate. Matt Dolan is the sponsor of the Equality Act in the Ohio Senate, which is an awful piece of legislation. It would give protected class status to the LGBTQ community. He has defended it when seldom asked. He has defended it by saying, oh, you need it for the business community, but no business will relocate to Ohio without the Equality Act protections for the LGBTQ community. Could you get a more woke company coming to Ohio than Intel? Did Intel come before we had the Equality Act into law? Yes, we still don't have it. Hopefully we'll never have it. But Dolan's reasons for sponsoring it, he thinks like a Democrat. He said last night, and this is as close as Matt Dolan and I have ever been aligned on anything, when he was pressed by Frank LaRose if he would back Donald Trump now that Nikki Haley has dropped out of the race. Here was the response from Matt Dolan. I'm supporting President Trump to be our nominee, but because I support Trump Republican policies, his personality, it's not me. His political style, it's not me. But his policies that make your life better and make America strong will make Ohio stronger. That is me. Well, that's a common sense position from Matt Dolan. I'm not sure, I wasn't sure before last night that he had any common sense positions because I fear him thinking like a Democrat and labeling himself like a Republican. Frank LaRose said of Donald Trump, and LaRose does not have Trump's endorsement. Moreno has that. But LaRose has tried to get it in the past, and he has tried to make nice with Donald Trump. And we'll see if that lack of an endorsement is a fatal flaw in his campaign or not on March the 19th. LaRose said, I understand some people may find his personality abrasive. I think that's the kind of bold, courageous leader that we need. I would proudly trade some mean tweets about now for cheaper gas and for lower energy prices and for a more secure world. Yeah, I would too. And I will most assuredly vote for Trump. I do think the Republicans had better candidates capable of winning the general election, and that is what it is all about. But Frank LaRose is right in that Donald Trump says things, however indelicately, that are true and that need to be said. Here is Trump at his finest talking about Joe Biden, the border, and then, as I say, Trump at his finest, inserting just enough of a visual image that it reinforces in people's minds, oh yeah, Biden is really failing physically and mentally. Yeah, now see, that's true, right? Everybody, even the most staunch Democrat, knows Biden looks ridiculous at the beach. They know he looks beyond ridiculous when he takes his shirt off at the beach. I don't know who in his campaign thought that was a good look, but Trump has this ability, and now the wacko Democrats out there going, well, you never see Trump with his shirt off. No, and that's the point. He's not stupid enough to do that. But Biden yesterday was making a case for the economy. He appeared at an economic summit, and while Trump has the gift of inserting that visual image of Biden at the beach and having you go in your head, yeah, boy, he does really look old. Biden has the reverse effect, where he will say something, and I would submit that right at the end of this clip, you're going to hear Joe Biden say a phrase that Joe Biden should never, ever say. That's a bad phrase for Joe Biden to use, the drop dead hour, because we all know, given how he looks on camera, going upstairs, trundling off stage, running, no more running to the helicopter, please. No more talking while the helicopter blades are, okay? But the drop dead hour, we all feel like that could be any hour with Joe Biden, right? Don't use that phrase anymore, Joe.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. Electric utility XL Energy says its facilities appear to have played a role in igniting a massive Texas Panhandle wildfire that grew into the largest such blaze in state history. Posting on Truth Social, former President Trump says he'll be providing running commentary as President Biden delivers his State of the Union speech tonight. Alabama's Governor Kay Ivey has signed a bill that protects IVF providers and patients from legal liability in the state. And a drive-by shooting at a city bus stop injured 8 high schoolers, one of them critically hurt, in Philadelphia. The hunt goes on for several gunmen who carried out yesterday afternoon's attack. Stocks are higher on Wall Street this morning. The Dow is up 122 points, while the Nasdaq is ahead 201 points. The S&P 44 points higher. More details at srnnews.com.
The new FedNow system is paving the way for the digital dollar. Grants the government unprecedented access to your financial transactions. This isn't just an invasion of privacy, it's a direct assault on your liberty and hard-earned money. It's another reason why I recommend physical gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnow. I'm a news analyst and a podcaster with nearly 25 million downloads to people just like you who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Big Brother while also preserving your retirement savings through almost anything, including economic crashes, political instability, and even hyperinflation. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text FAITH to 989898. Remember, there's no strings attached. Text FAITH and the number 989898 right now. And I pray you're blessed with
news, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn or iHeart.
This is Josh Fick with Aptus Wealth Management. The U.S. and the world have certainly changed a lot in the last few years, facing money dangers that we haven't seen in a long time, maybe ever. Inflation continues to be a problem. Interest rate increases have made purchases like cars and homes seemingly impossible for some, and retirement looks like a scary proposition. For many, it appears to be a dire situation and has left them paralyzed and fearful. You are not helpless, and there are ways to gain back control. At Aptus, we help our clients navigate the labyrinth of retirement planning and educate them on how to make appropriate choices for their individual situation. Whether you have never met with a fiduciary investment advisor before, or you just want a second opinion, we're here to help. Call our office today at 614-917-1040 and learn how a cost-free complimentary meeting may be the key to putting your money to work and your mind at ease. And don't forget to listen to the Aptus Blueprint Radio Show Friday evenings at 6, Saturday afternoons at noon, or call our office today at 614-917-1040.
What do you want your future to be like? Invest in your education today, something that no one can take away from you. Ohio Christian University's online programs for working adults give you the flexibility to take one class at a time to fit your busy schedule. Our programs range from business to psychology and substance abuse counseling. Classes begin on March 19th, 2024. Take the next step and call 844-726-7937 today to learn more. Or go to ohiochristian.edu/apply.
His mission used to be protect and serve. Now he's on a mission to serve God. Be the voice of and for the people. He's Brandon Tatum, and you can hear him weeknights at 7 on the Officer Tatum Show on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Hey, when you face a major expense, right, a big car repair or maybe remodeling the home, what you're hoping to hear back from a buddy when you talk about it is, don't worry, I've got a guy. Well, if you're thinking about new flooring in your home, don't worry, I've got a guy. I am the guy. Soft Step Carpet in Plain City. Yes, we have all the major brands. We have Shaw, we have Anderson, we have Anderson Tough Tex, we have Dreamweaver. We have so many brands, I can't remember them all. You talk about your wood look flooring that's scratch-proof, dent-proof, waterproof, looks like tile, looks like wood. We've got all that too, and we'll get it in your home inside of a month. I'm the guy. Email me, brucehooley@gmail.com, brucehooley@gmail.com. You're maybe having a big celebration for a son or daughter's graduation this year, tax return, thinking of remodeling the home. Can't afford a new home now with interest rates where they are, but what you can do is reinvest in your home and save money at Soft Step because we don't have the big overhead that a lot of the big box flooring stores do. So Soft Step Carpet just down the road from Costco on 161, or email me, brucehooley@gmail.com. Hey, we have more from the Angry Bobcat, who runs the Columbus Dispatch editorial page, Amelia Robinson. She wrote earlier in the week that she was honked off that her alma mater, Ohio University, the Bobcats, had paused race-based scholarships. You know, how dare they comply with the U.S. Supreme Court ruling making affirmative action illegal? So she said, in her own words, she was an angry Bobcat. Well, she's angry about something else now. But here's what she ought to be angry about. Before I tell you what she is angry about, let me tell you what she ought to be angry about. The Supreme Court of Ohio has ruled that Ohio's 10th District Court of Appeals must reconsider a student at Ohio State's lawsuit. Now, what is a student at Ohio State suing Ohio State for? He's suing to get back the tuition paid to the university for spring semester 2020. Now, can anybody think what happened in the spring of 2020? COVID, right? So when COVID hit in March, OSU shut down in-class instruction, and this student is sued saying, hey, I didn't get what I paid for. I want my money back. And the Ohio Court of Claims said that the student's got a point. Well, OSU appealed, and the 10th District Court ruled that the Ohio Court of Claims, they did not rule whether or not OSU was entitled to discretionary immunity. And so the Supreme Court sent it back and said, no, we want you to make a ruling on this. And then after you make a ruling on this, then we'll make a ruling on it. It only seems like I'm always cautious when I use this word, fair, but it only seems fair to me that if the kids were not allowed to be educated in the manner that they anticipated when they paid their tuition, they should get that money back. I mean, after all, if Ohio State has money to throw, $12.5 million at Chris Holtman to no longer be its basketball coach, and they have $13 million to throw at a football team that they're building and hiring head coaches away from other institutions to be coordinators and paying 5, 6, 7 coaches over $1 million a year, they always find the money, right? They got the money. So give the kids their money back. That seems to me to be the right thing. Amelia Robinson, angry Bobcat. Get your keyboard and rail against that for a while. But no, instead, what is Amelia Robinson angry about today? She's angry about people in Pataskala who are concerned that a solar energy company that is 49% owned by a Chinese business, it's 49% Chinese owned, this business, is trying to relocate to Pataskala. And you can imagine why. Amelia Robinson, the angry Bobcat, is angry about that, right? She says that this is not a sinister plot by the Chinese Communist Party. How would she know? How would she know? I'm not saying it is either, but I'm just saying I wouldn't make a statement that it's not a sinister plot because I don't know. I can't possibly know, nor can she. She rails against a vocal grassroots group of citizens dubbed Not in Pataskala, whose logo includes a black X under the hammer and sickle. I will say, as far as logos go, it's powerful, powerful logo. As part of a campaign to keep Pataskala American. Yes, that would definitely make Amelia Robinson mad. Keeping America American, that would definitely offend her sensibilities. Now, this company called Illuminate USA is 51% owned by a Chicago-based renewable energy company and 49% owned by a Chinese entity. There are yard signs in Pataskala. There are people wearing a T-shirt with this logo on it. They don't want this company there because it's Chinese owned. It's their prerogative. But Amelia says there is no evidence the company has villainous plans for the city or its residents. It plans to invest millions in the region, which means job opportunities for American workers. Yeah, maybe. And maybe it means that all their data off their cell phones will be captured by these servers or whatever they put up in this Chinese business. I don't know, and you don't know. What bothers me is you acting like you know when you don't know. And she cites some 2021 U.S. Department of Agriculture report saying that China owns less land in America than Canada does, or the Netherlands does, or Italy, or United Kingdom. Okay, first of all, study's outdated. It's 3 years old. Am I to believe that China hasn't bought a single acre of land in the United States over the last 3 years? Can you give me like a more current study? If the answer to that is no, then don't include the study at all, because it proves a point you're clearly trying to make, but it's not a, oh, I almost said it. I almost said a word that might have made me and Amelia best friends. I almost said equitable. No, it's not an accurate study if it's 3 years old. And then she goes on to talk about how many people they've already hired and this, that, and the other. And then we get to the real point that's really got Amelia Robinson, the angry Bobcat, angry. She says, it seems isolationism and xenophobia, heightened for some by the rhetoric from former President Donald Trump, and fears about Asians stoked during the COVID pandemic, have invaded Pataskala. Maybe Pataskala residents just don't want a solar energy company there in their city. Maybe they just don't want their jobs to be beholden to a Chinese energy company. Maybe they don't want a Chinese and an Illinois energy company in their city. It's their right to determine what they want in their city, not yours, angry Bobcat. And here are the final 2 woke paragraphs. Change brings new people, ideas, and opportunities. In the case of Illuminate USA, there is no reason to see those things as bad. The rumors about the company are meritless and based in fear. We hope logic rules the day as Pataskala continues down the path of prosperity. My guess is Amelia doesn't live in Pataskala. My guess is if the company has nefarious or villainous plans, to quote her, she will not have to suffer the consequences of it. And that makes her the perfect liberal voice, because she can dictate to people and tell them how they ought to want to live their lives, like Tim Ryan and Bill Maher were the other day when I played the cut from the Newsweek editor who said, look, Donald Trump spoke to people in a way that resonated with them because NAFTA and other agreements sold the American worker down the river. Those are Democratic policies. And Trump articulated a different vision, and Maher and Ryan went, well, but he didn't really deliver, did he? Oh, I asked people who had better jobs under Trump than they have under Biden, if he delivered or not. See, what you experience, your lived experience, is not really relevant to the Amelia Robinsons and the Bill Mahers and the Tim Ryans and the Joy Reids and the Jen Psaki's and the Joe Bidens. Because tonight, Joe Biden's going to tell you tonight how great the economy is. Flat out going to tell you Bidenomics working. He's going to tell you how great it is. He's going to tell you how he's done more on the border, and if he only had more laws, he could do more on the border. They're going to tell you, not in so many words, but this is the effect of telling you the economy is great and we've created 14 million jobs. No, actually you haven't. You just restored the jobs that were there under Trump in the pandemic. But they're really good at telling you what you should be appreciative of, or what you should notice, that even though it's not present in your life, not having an impact in your life, you should be noticing it. Why? Because we're pointing it out and we're saying it's there. And you say, well, I don't feel it. My wages aren't up. Prices are up 20%. My wages are up like 4%. That's a 16% net negative the way I do math. And Biden will say, no, you're just not looking at it right. Well, in his mind, you're not looking at it right because you're not looking at it to his benefit. You're looking at it accurately. You're just not looking at it right for his benefit. So get ready tonight. You're going to be told how great things are. And you're going to be told that if you don't think things are great, you're the problem because you're a MAGA extremist. And that therefore you're what's wrong with the country. Be right back.
Attention business owners, medical practice owners, and taxpayers with not so simple tax returns. If you're not getting timely and useful financial advice, you're at the year from your accountant. Why not? I'm CPA your tax CPA. And the true value of using a CPA is getting guidance throughout the year, not just the tax time. During the year, we can actively advise you on the financial, tax planning, and other major business needs, just like an outside CFO. Too often, when you see your accountant only a tax time, they're really only keeping score of what you did last year. At Career Tax CPAs, we like to have monthly consultation with business because important financial information is only useful if it's timely. See us before April 15th and get a free copy of my latest book, The Ohio Business Owner's Tax Survival. At Career Tax CPA, we're a firm that can work with you and your business throughout the year to make decisions before it's time. Give us a call at 614-524-4888 or at 614-524-4888. Wednesday, March 20th at the Lazy Chameleon in Powell. Mike Gallagher, Bruce Hooley, Jack Windsor, and special guests live on stage. All tickets include food, drink, meet and greet, and Q&A. Tickets are limited for this VIP event, sponsored in part by Adult and Teen Challenge Ohio. Details and tickets available now at 989theanswer.com.
The new FedNow system is paving the way for the digital dollar. Grants the government unprecedented access to your financial transactions. This isn't just an invasion of privacy, it's a direct assault on your liberty and hard-earned money. It's another reason why I recommend physical gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallman. I'm a news analyst and a podcaster with nearly 25 million downloads to people just like you who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the screaming of Big Brother while also preserving your retirement savings through almost anything, including economic crisis, political instability, and even hyperinflation. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text FAITH to 989898. Remember, there's no strings attached. Text FAITH to the number 989898 right now, and I pray you're blessed with continued prosperity.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Well, I know that it's not been the best weather lately, but I do know that great weather is just around the corner. You can tell it, right? Drive by a golf course, see how it's greening up. Maybe your own lawn is greening up too. Won't be long before you're on the deck grilling a fantastic steak. Well, maybe you'll be grilling, but will it be a fantastic steak? It will be if you subscribe to the place where I get my steak, riverbendranchsteaks.com. riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley will take you to the page where you can set up your own order every month, every other month. New York strip, ribeye, filet mignon, ground beef, the very best. How can I guarantee it's the very best? Well, because it's got no hormones in it, no antibiotics ever. It's totally controlled from birth to the time it is butchered, right there on the ranch, the one ranch, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana. It's a sprawling ranch, but boy, oh boy, is the beef fantastic. All black Angus, guaranteed USDA choice and prime. You should check it out. You'll be surprised. Hey, these prices, they're lower than Butcher Box, lower than others, and almost as low as my grocery. Yeah, but it's better beef at riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley. Well, we know that the city of Columbus believes, kudos, by the way, to the person who wrote this lead on the WSYX website. The issue of affordable housing is being called a crisis in Franklin County. I wonder if they're listeners to the show. Because I keep saying the affordable housing crisis in Columbus is misappropriated because our rents here on average are $400 under the national average. So it's not that we have an affordable housing crisis. We might have a housing crisis. We don't have an affordable housing crisis. Now, people may say, well, I can't afford it. Okay, well, that's a Joe Biden issue. That's an economic issue. It's not a Columbus problem. As long as our average rents are under the national average, I don't think it's fair or correct or accurate to say that we have an affordable housing crisis. We might have a housing crisis, but not an affordable housing crisis. But the city of Columbus says we do, and so, nobody's going to challenge them. It's an all-Democratic city with angry bobcats on the editorial board of the Columbus Dispatch, and nobody's going to push back against these numbers. So last night, the Community Shelter Board donated, this was the Columbus City Council, says it will give $9.5 million to the Community Shelter Board. Now, where does this money come from? Well, it's money's part of the American Rescue Plan Act. Yes, the gift that keeps on giving. Joe Biden's spending that we didn't need to spend, that created the inflation that nobody wanted, that we were told was transitory, that jacked prices through the roof and still haven't come down. That's where they're getting the $9.5 million. Here's Council President Shannon Hardin. We have a problem that is just getting worse. Yeah, we do. It's not the housing. It's the all Democrats on the city council. But anyway, to continue Mr. Hardin's quote, we have to be big and bold when we think about solutions. No argument there. Maybe spend, no, I don't know, $100 million less on the fancy bike path and plow that into housing? Just a suggestion. Do people without housing, I mean, maybe they ride bikes, but I don't think they care about your $100 million bike path. This is an additional investment from federal ARPA funds. I don't even know what ARPA is, nor do I care. I just know federal. It's my tax dollars and yours. Brings the total investment in the Community Shelter Board to $15 million. And Mayor Andrew Ginther, he just couldn't wait to tell you that since 2020, the city has invested more than $50 million with the Community Shelter Board to combat the impacts of COVID and a shrinking number of housing units on our most vulnerable population. Homelessness is a complex issue and not one the city can fight alone. No, you're always willing to take a hand out of federal tax dollars, that's for sure. Now, speaking of one of those areas where they don't have enough housing, or at least safe housing, yesterday, in the midst of the Bruce Hooley Show, another murder took place in the city of Columbus, another murder of a teenager in the city of Columbus. 19-year-old Royce Gilbert of East Linden was shot and killed in the 1100 block of East 18th Avenue. The police got there 2 minutes later, and Mr. Gilbert, unfortunately, did not survive his injuries. So, murder totals in Columbus, they were bragging the other day at City Hall about how they were down for the first 2 months of the year, and that's definitely good. Does anybody think they will stay down when the weather gets warm and summer dawns and the clocks get turned back? I think that's this weekend, by the way. Maybe it's next weekend. And the hours of the day are longer. I wish I could be confident of that. I'm really not confident of that because I've lived through it the last 2 years where we see that the murder totals skyrocket in the summertime. Bethany Bruner with an interesting story in the Dispatch today. Headline, Franklin County juries, do they reflect the diversity of the community? Often it's up to chance. Now, when they write a story like this, I'm inherently skeptical of it, but she actually does a pretty good job writing about, and the reason this is a story, you know why this is a story, right? What just happened in Columbus? Oh, Jason Meade was not convicted of murder in the death of Casey Goodson, who waved a gun at him, wouldn't put his gun down, and was shot to death by Jason Meade. The jury that did not convict Jason Meade, Bethany Bruner writes, only one juror on the entire 16-person panel appeared to be a person of color. Now, here's a couple of things, and she points this out in the story. You can only pick a jury pool from the people who show up for jury duty. And maybe people of color who did show up were disqualified during the process of questioning jurors, and that's what happens when a jury is picked. Attorneys from both sides get to question the jury. In the case of Jason Meade, they filled out a long information sheet about what they knew about the case beforehand. And is it plausible to think that people in the Black community might have been more attuned to pretrial publicity in this case than people who live out in the suburbs? Yeah, I think that's plausible. So maybe some of them were disqualified based upon their answers to questions that were aimed at, what's the aim when we have a jury? Not what Amelia Robinson and the Dispatch editorial board wants you to believe the aim of a jury is. They want the jury to convict every police officer charged with any crime at any time for anything. That's not the actual job of a jury. It's to render a fair verdict based upon all the evidence without allowing their preconceived notions about the case to enter into their decision making. That's what a jury is for. And so if they had trouble finding people who didn't know certain things about the case or didn't have hard and fast opinions about the case before they showed up, that might account for the fact that they had a 16-person panel and they had 4 alternates and a 12-person jury. Only one person on the panel apparently of color. Does anybody think they'd be writing this story if Jason Meade had been convicted? Does anybody think that they would be writing that? I don't think they would be. Maybe the problem, it's not going to keep them from re-prosecuting Jason Meade, of course, but maybe the problem with the case against Jason Meade was not the jury. Maybe the problem was the case and what the case lacked, which was convincing evidence that Jason Meade was not justified in acting as he acted on the day that Casey Goodson died. The people that I've talked to about the case say that the jury was not like, there was not like one holdout. There were multiple, up to half the jury members who were holdouts. Okay. So story's not a bad story to do. It did a pretty fair job of outlining how the jury process works. But it leaves this bad taste in my mouth that if you're black, you should think a certain way about this case. And really what you should do if you're a good juror is view it dispassionately.
You owe back taxes? The news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate and charges on unpaid taxes. And further rate hikes are expected. People don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your taxes. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone.
All right, sorry for the late start today. We'll be back tomorrow and hope you guys have a great day.